So today we'll be discussing converting measurements as a continuation of our new unit. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we'll be learning to do today is converting measurements from a larger unit to a smaller unit. And we'll be able to do this by using operations like multiplication or even division and kind of recognizing patterns that we see. And I'm going to show you a few ways that you can easily do this today. So in our lesson, we'll be using our standard measurements and changing them into different measurements. For example, if we were figuring out how many ounces make a gallon, once we know that standard unit of measure, we can then figure out how many ounces are in 2 gallons or 3 gallons. But it's really important for us to figure out what those standard units of measure are, so we kind of have a starting point to kind of move forward when converting measurements. So just to kind of remind you, it's important to look at this measurement chart that goes through our standard units of measure that we use here in the United States to measure distance, weight and mass, or capacity, or even time. So just to make this a little bit bigger, we see here that we have, 1 yard is equivalent to 3 feet, 1 foot is equivalent to 12 inches, and so on. And I'm going to actually show you an easy way to kind of set up your thinking when converting measurements. So let's take a look here at this question that we're going to discuss in today's math. So we have here that Ms. Blanda bought 3 quarts of chocolate milk and 5 gallons of regular milk. How many quarts of regular milk did Ms. Blanda buy? Now, when I look at a word problem like this, I notice that there are 2 different types of measurements being used. And when we're dealing with measurement, we need to keep it to the same type of measurement in order to really accurately measure correctly. So let's take a look here. So I see here, like I just said, that there are quarts and gallons. But the question, how many quarts of regular milk, is referring to only quarts. So Miss Blanda bought 3 quarts of chocolate milk, and then it also says 5 gallons of regular milk. So this is what we need to do. I see that there are 5 gallons, but we need to change gallons to quarts. So after rereading, I see that we're being asked how many quarts of regular milk Miss Blanda buy. But the information we have is in gallons, so we need to convert quarts to gallons. So before I even get started, you want to think, what's my starting point? Do we know how many quarts make 1 gallon? Let's take a look at our chart. So we have here, so let's go back to our chart here. It says here that 1 gallon is equivalent to 4 quarts. So I want to kind of show you guys what that looks like. So 1 gallon is equivalent to 4 quarts that you see here. But in the word problem, there are 5 gallons that we need to convert into quarts. So I see that's 1, 2 gallons, 3 gallons, 4 gallons, and 5 gallons. And if we were to count our quarts, it would just be 4 quarts plus 4 quarts plus 4 quarts plus 4 quarts plus 4 quarts. We would be adding 4 quarts 5 times, or as mathematicians in 4th grade, we can simply just do 4 times 5. So we know that 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, but if we have 5 gallons, we would multiply that times 4, and that would give us 20 quarts. So again, looking here, I want to show you this easy chart. So I have my gallons. I have 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. 2 gallons equals 8 quarts. 3 gallons would equal 12 quarts. 4 gallons would equal 16 quarts. And 5 gallons would equal 20 quarts. And all I ended up doing was multiplying my number of gallons by the amount of quarts you can find inside of a gallon. So I'd be multiplying by 4. So if you notice, as my counting number of gallons went up, so did my quarts. They increased by 4. So you can create this type of chart when you are solving using any of these types of measurements. So To kind of go back to the question, Miss Blanda bought 3 quarts of chocolate milk and 5 gallons of regular milk. How many quarts of regular milk did Miss Blanda buy? Miss Blanda bought 20 quarts of regular milk. But what if we were to change this question a little bit? And we ask down here, how many quarts of regular milk and chocolate milk did Miss Blanda buy? Well, as we see, the chocolate milk is already in quarts, so we don't need to change that type of measurement. So we have 3 quarts plus the 20 quarts, because we know 5 gallons is equivalent to 20 quarts. So that means she purchased 23 quarts in all.